The interesting thing about this chat room is that it actually has everything. People joining and people leaving. So I was on Zoom all morning, so I've got to reorientate myself now. Yeah. All right. So again, good afternoon. Thank everybody for coming on. Let's see. Keith, I think you could tell me. I can't see how many are on right now. How many do we have right now? Or Lori or Mallory? How many?
23.
Okay.
But again, I'm not sure how many are board members versus guests or quorum. I don't know.
Exactly. All right. So, okay. Go ahead and get started. I guess we'll, once Lori calls the roll, we'll be able to figure out whether we have a quorum or not, but we should be close anyway. So again, welcome everybody. As was stated, the meeting will be recorded. So if you have some concerns about that, cover yourself accordingly. And now I will ask Lori to do the roll call.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call a roll call for board members. If you'll just let me know if you're here. Andrew Crawford.
Here.
Andrew Tostowski. Andrew Tostowski. Anthony Cardoza.
I'm here.
Travis Griffin. Travis Griffin. Jason Shockley.
I'm here.
Sam Penn Sr.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Charles Mann. Charles Mann. Cheryl Gidgets. Cheryl Gidgets.
I'm here.
Cheryl Toller. Cheryl Toller. Christine Kennedy.
Present.
Cynthia Hall. Cynthia Hall. Dana Hogan. Dana Hogan. Gary Campbell. Gary Campbell. John Capps.
Here.
John Redding.
Here.
Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Williams. Lauren Anderson. Lauren Anderson. Luke Saychow.
Present.
Margette Upshur. Margette. Scott Francis. Scott Francis. Okay, and we do see, let's see, Cheryl Gidgets, you are here? Okay.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, great, thank you. Michael Penn. Michael Penn. William Gomez, okay. Nat Marshall is here.
Here.
Okay. Nathan Dowdy. Nathan. Renee Shamlers. Here. Richard Russo. Richard. Robert Johnson,
I'm here.
Ron Lovelace, Ron, Nate Mahanes,
Present.
Sierra Phillips,
Here.
Sonia Todd, Sterling Wilder, Sterling, Tamara Rosser, Tracy Bledo,
I'm by phone, yes.
and I did see where William Campbell. Let's see. Yes, I'm sorry, William Cullen.
He's listed as here, as well as Lauren Anderson. They've chatted that both.
Okay, great. Lauren Anderson. Okay. And I guess if there are any others who were not called.
William Coleman from Lynn Cag.
So, yep. William Coleman, Bill Coleman, Lori.
Yes, I have him. Yes.
All right. Does that take care of it?
Yes, sir.
Thank everybody. I'm just keeping a general count. I think we do have a quorum. What we'll do is the state requires for each and every vote that you go through this task of asking everybody. I'm not going to go through all that, but I will ask for when it is appropriate to have a motion and a vote that we vote, and only if there is a nay will we actually count. I would assume otherwise that everybody's in support of it. We won't go through this arduous task again. So everybody, appreciate you coming. And let's just get right into the meat of the agenda here. I don't think there's anyone who is here for the very first time. If so, certainly raise your hand, let me know, and welcome. I think everybody else is, pretty much everybody's been here at least once in the meeting. So with that, you received the minutes of the January 12th meeting and the February 23rd meetings. Were there any additions, changes, or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes as presented.
Nate Mahanes, so motion.
Okay, Nate, thank you. Do I have a second?
John Cap, second.
Okay, thank you, John. It's been properly moved and second that we accept the minutes at both sets of minutes as they have been presented. All those in favor, aye.
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 And more importantly, anyone against, nay. Okay, the ayes have it, and we assume that it's been unanimous. Okay, so with that, now let's go to the financial report. And I see that Ron, who is the chair of the finance committee, is not with us. So we asked Rosalie to give us a quick update. Right.
Yes, sir. Mallory, could you pull that up by any chance?
Yeah, if you give me 1 second, I can pull it up for you.
Sure. I'm just going to talk through it real quick as far as on the last sheet, the comparison of budget to actual. The third page, Mallory. Here we go. Oh, you got to make that bigger, but whatever. So dropping down to the far right-hand column down at the bottom, we had anticipated that we would spend $2 million this year. So far, we're at about $1 million, but this is through 6, 7, 8 months. So when we had developed the budget, I was really scared that we wouldn't have enough money to make it through the end of the year, but I think we will have some additional carry forward for next year. So everything pretty much is running at about 50% to budget. Program operations, the client costs, et cetera. There really isn't, I'm going to say nothing that jumps out at me that I can point out to you. Economic equity and the Wagner-Pizer, as I understand, those grants will both end this year at the end of June. And unless anyone had any particular questions, just a point at the very top, it shows our budget lines from PY18 and PY20 as they refer to them. PY19 is the oldest money, and that has been spent 100% as of last month. So we won't be losing any money, so to speak. And if anyone has any questions.
Okay, thank you. So you answered a couple of questions that I would have asked, and one was, you know, have we spent all the money that we had potentially in the pot to lose? So we're clearing that, so we don't have to send anything back to the state, which is great. And so you said we're at 50%. I sometimes forget our fiscal year. Our fiscal year is October to September.
Well, it depends upon the money. Supposedly the youth money comes to us technically in April, but the adult and dislocated, we don't get the full funding. We get something like maybe 25% July, but we don't get the full amount until October. So for adult and dislocated, it pretty much is the funding starts in October.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So we just trust that you got it handled, and we with that. So thank you.
I guess. Yeah.
And she can never leave.
Never leave. Exactly. Yeah. Don't even think about retirement.
Yeah. Thank you.
So anybody have any questions in regards to the financial report? We've been really lucky with having Rosalie here for the 10th time that we've had. You know, she's very, very knowledgeable and has kept us clean over the course of years. I don't think we've ever had to turn any money back in because of her overview. So we really appreciate it.
No.
Not going to happen. Okay, so if there are no other questions, then thank you, Rosalie. Anything else that you wanted to report on?
No, sir.
Okay, great. So then we're going to get to the updates. And one of the big updates is the Commonwealth's G3 initiative and how CVCC is going to be working with that. So Dr. Capps, if you would give us an update.
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Well, we can hear you.
Thanks, Matt. And Gary, thank you for inviting me to provide this update about G3. I hope that by now all of you have at least heard about G3. G3 is an acronym for Get Skilled, Get a Job, Give Back. It was one of Governor Northam's signature initiatives, and what it amounts to in practical terms is tuition-free community college for students who enroll in high-demand career and technical education fields. At CVCC, those fields come to healthcare, advanced manufacturing and skilled trades, information technology, and public safety. And right now at the college, we have about 60 programs that qualify for G3 support like that. 34 of those programs are credit programs, and 26 of the programs are fast forward programs that provide students with job training skills in a matter of weeks as opposed to months or years. The appropriation itself amounts to $36 million, and $34.5 million of that amount is devoted to tuition support. $1.5 million of the appropriation is devoted to marketing CTE programs. So there will be a statewide blitz announcing the importance in trying to attract students to these CTE programs. These are last dollar scholarships, so students are required to apply for other forms of financial aid. But there aren't very many limitations on the criteria that students can use to qualify for these scholarships. In fact, the ceiling is $100,000. So if a student's household makes $100,000 or less, they qualify for these scholarships. And the scholarships include not just the tuition and fees, but books. And they also include living expenses, up to $900 a semester if students take a full-time program of study. So we certainly hope that, if community college education is free, we hope that more students are going to come to the college, and we also hope that the scholarship program is going to attract more students to these career and technical education classes. I'll confess that over the past year, enrollment at CVCC dipped by almost 10%, by about 9.5%. And we attribute that in large measure to the fact that we were forced to go primarily to online education, with the exception of a select number of the CTE courses that we're talking about as being G3 eligible. I'm happy to report that today the enrollment for the summer semester year to year is up by 40%. And that's probably something of an aberration. It probably reflects the fact that students were slow to register for summer school last year because of the pandemic. But at the same time, we certainly hope that that significant increase in enrollment foreshadows a very healthy increase in fall enrollment. I think you can see then that G3 is going to be a primary driver in driving students to these vital CTE programs of study. In a happy coincidence of events, at the same time that G3 becomes effective on July the 1st, our Regional Career and Technical Education Academy is officially going to open as well. Same date, July the 1st. I think the accent on this academy really belongs on the regional, because this is a true regional collaborative effort, not strictly a CVCC initiative. I see on my screen the ever youthful Bobby Johnson, and Bobby really led the effort among our area superintendents to bring this idea to me. I can't claim credit for this regional CTE academy. The idea really began with the superintendents themselves, because they came to the conclusion that with these expensive CTE programs, it made more sense to concentrate them in one location than to replicate them 5 or 6 different times across every school division and CVCC. So at one of their clandestine lunches, the superintendents invited me to participate, and Bobby made a pitch for this regional CTE academy, which I was quick to embrace. It's also a collaborative effort because it enjoys widespread community support. And I also see on my screen Gary Christie. Special thanks to Gary Christie for his leadership, and special thanks to the Planning District Commission for their generosity in providing us with the matching funds that we needed to secure a $400,000 Go Virginia grant. That Go Virginia grant has enabled us to hire 2 key positions that are going to be crucial toward promoting the academy and career and technical education throughout our service area. One of those positions is a coordinator of CTE initiatives, and that individual is going to be responsible for managing our CTE programs in the academy and developing more new programs in the academy. The other position is a coordinator of business partnerships, and that position is going to be responsible for promoting career and technical education in our public schools, among our public school partners, in community forums, wherever we can get the word out to try to attract people to these vital career paths. When we envisioned standing up this academy, we conducted a poll among area employers. And we got 200 responses, and 75% of those responses indicated that those employers were having a difficult time hiring workforce-ready talent. That underscored the need for a talent pipeline, and it confirmed to us the value of a CTE academy like this. So we're excited about G3. We think that it's going to open the floodgates to bring a variety of new students to these CTE programs, and we're excited about the CTE Academy, which is going to enable us at CVCC really to take full advantage and to exploit the full potential of the G3 scholarship program. So do you have any questions you'd like to ask me?
So John, will the CTE classes be dual enrollment? Will the students at the high schools be able to get credit, college credit for those classes?
Yeah, the classes at the academy itself. The classes at the academy itself will be for dual enrollment students, for recent high school graduates, and for adult students at the same time. Unfortunately, G3 does not apply to high school students. A student has to be a high school graduate to qualify for G3 support. When the governor first rolled out G3, dual enrollment students would have been included in the tuition-free scholarship assistance, but that was withdrawn as the bill made its way through the General Assembly. So even though dual enrollment students can participate in the courses, and Bobby is he's the primary purveyor of sending students to CVCC. Each semester, he sends about 100 of his students to CVCC for dual enrollment credit. The other school divisions will have the option of doing that, but they won't be able to take advantage of the G3 scholarship support. We hope that by this time next year, we'll be able to muscle that aspect of the initiative through the General Assembly so that dual enrollment students, high school students, will qualify as well. Any other questions? Well, thanks to all of you for your support all along the way. It truly is a community initiative, truly is a regional academy. And so we're grateful for the support that you've given to us in the past, and we look forward to your continued partnership in the future.
John, thank you very much. Appreciate that update. And so I learned a couple things today, so I think we all have. Appreciate it. Okay, as we continue on, let's go on with the agenda. And next up is the renewal of the Humankind contract. Lori and Keith, are you going to talk to that?
Yes, thank you, Nat. So as Nat stated, the contract between the board and Humankind for one-stop operator and operator of the Title I programs, adult dislocated and youth programs, was awarded to Humankind. It's a 3-year annually renewable contract, which was effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. And so Keith has prepared a short presentation to give you all an overview of their PY20 progress. And you all will have an opportunity to ask any questions or express any concerns with him directly at this time. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, Lori. All right, I'm going to just try to share my screen here, just a quick presentation, nothing too long. So what are people seeing? What are people seeing?
Program, I can see program, okay, program year-to-date report. Humankind.
Okay, perfect, wonderful. So again, yeah, this is going to highlight our program year 2020 up through March 31st, because obviously we're in April, so we can't go past that. But so these are numbers, again, as year-to-date so far. In this first screen, I actually wanted to compare some program statistics from previous program year to this. Obviously, you're going to hear a lot about COVID as we go through this, and probably for a long time to come. But this just gives you some general numbers on participation, enrollments, work experiences, and employment. So this is the youth stats. So you can see where it says PY19 in the kind of I don't know what color this is, but maroon or something. That's last year, and then this is this program year. So active enrollment's down just a little bit. Obviously enrollments are down, a bit, and we expect that again due to COVID. We've overcome a lot of obstacles, and we'll talk about that in a second. And it's funny, actually, on the adult side, the enrollments for this time period is up slightly. But again, we're still, kind of seeing the fallout of people struggling to kind of get back into the workforce. I do want to address here the work experiences numbers. Last year at this time it was 36. This year it's 20. But that is because of a intentional shift in our focus for in-school youth. And I'll talk about this a little bit later, but Sarah has done a great job of kind of creating a work readiness, 6 to 8 week work readiness program for all of our youth participants. And then actually have transitioned into trying to do more of a summer work experience, summer employment program this year compared to other years where we would spread out work experiences throughout the course of the year. For the in-school youth, we've been preparing them with the workforce readiness training, and then we'll move them into a much more manageable work experience over the summer. So that's why those numbers are a little bit lower, and they won't be when we're done with the program year. And again, you can ask questions throughout if you want. If there's questions on the statistics or anything, please feel free. And otherwise, I'll just kind of continue through this. So again, here's a comparison for adult and dislocated worker programs. Again, from PY19, so that'll be July 1st through March 31st of 2020. Again, you can see enrollments for us on the adult side have been pretty consistent. As far as the active numbers, down a little bit, and actually surprisingly up a little bit. I think obviously this report ended in March when all the COVID stuff hit a year ago, March. And we were struggling. We've talked about it a couple of times recently where we've had low enrollments over the last 3 months. April was picked up significantly. March had increased. But so surprisingly, we were still up. It was only 4, but we were up enrollments year to date from last year. The credential is concerning, but it makes sense. The credential is down considerably for this time of the year because we had a lot of and Dr. Cass is certainly aware of this, of the transitions of people coming from the programs that were going on, that they were taking part in, to then having to switch over to virtual, and there was a lag there, and we lost several people who were in trainings and then kind of dropped out, but we're confident that number is going to increase as it has, as things continue to open up and more opportunities come. And so I'm not concerned about it. I just know it's significantly less. But again, it's still, the numbers aren't massive numbers when we're talking right now about the difference between 23. Well, it's significant. So it's 23 credentials by this point last year and 10 so far this year. But we are, again, doing everything we can to get people into those trainings. Dislocated worker, again, this is one where you really don't want to see high numbers. So dislocated worker are people who have been laid off, let go for no fault of their own. And so these come to us through, plant closures or significant decreases in staff. So again, we always want this to kind of be low because we don't want people to lose their job, but it does show you what we're accomplishing. So the enrollments are down, although we've served more because we have more carryover this year than last. We have enrolled significantly less, and that's a good thing. We have had more people. Most of the time with dislocated worker, you have less opportunity for credentials because most of them have experience in training. They just need help kind of getting to that next job. So we actually have provided more credentials for dislocated workers this program year, and have exited more to employment this program year than we did last year at this time. Now, quickly, I want to just kind of go through performance. And I know this is always an interesting topic, but just so people understand, right now, this is reporting for first quarter of program year 2020, but these numbers actually come from people who were exited in 2019. It takes a while, like a year, for some of these measures to be calculated and then for the state to report on them. So most of the numbers that we're presenting here are actually people who exited either from January of 2019 or July through September of 2019. But what is exciting, and I want to make sure people are aware of this, when you see the negotiated level of performance, why they put that there is because in order to meet the standard, you have to hit at least 85% of the negotiated level. And so at this stage, and I'll talk about measurable skill gains in a second, the youth program for this reporting period has met or exceeded all the performance measures at this time. So, that's why you had the 109%. That means you exceeded the measure. If you hit, again, 85%, you met the measure. And so we're excited about that. You're going to see across the board measurable skill gains are low. And that's a little bit of a confusing one, and one that they have been working on, really finally tracking and are now starting to track more, it's taking more seriously and documenting more clearly. But what happens with measurable skill gain, different from the other ones, is that's real time. So the measurable skill gain goal actually is counted in live, like this program year. It's as we go along. So what happens is people can be enrolled in a training program, but they haven't finished that program, or they haven't completed enough time yet where the measurable skill gain hasn't been achieved yet. So this one will increase as we go through the program year. So again, if we're reporting out at the end of the program year and the numbers are still like that, then there's cause for concern. But at this point, just so everybody knows, it's just kind of an ongoing rolling thing. And so as people complete these things, they will get entered in, and that number will increase significantly. Any questions on performance? I know sometimes it's a little daunting. All right. Adult performance, excited again here as well. Like I said, 85% would be meeting it. We've exceeded it on 2 measures and have met it, and then some on employment and on median earnings. So we're excited about that. And again, so that measurable skill gain, it just means that nobody who was in the measure for that period of time was actually recorded. That doesn't mean they didn't get one. It's just, or that they won't get one. It just means that whatever they were working on hadn't been completed during the time of the reporting. So you're going to see that kind of increase again, like I said, year to date as we move forward. And again, dislocated worker, so we're in really great shape. I know we've had meetings in the past about performance, and performance can change from quarter to quarter. It's not a cumulative thing in that sense. And I know as we get into the people who exit during this COVID period, we'll probably see some struggles with performance, but it is exciting to see the levels that we're hitting right now on both and on all the adult dislocated worker and youth programs. So here we've got 3 that have exceeded, and the other one has met. So again, meeting or exceeding all performance measures, again, except for the measurable skill gains, which I've explained. So again, excited about where we are performance wise. And one of the things I think will continue to help that process is that when we transitioned in July, we actually took the follow-up responsibilities and moved them to the career navigators. It just makes sense that they already have an existing relationship with the clients that they serve, and it's much easier for them to get a hold of people and to make sure that they're on track and if they need anything. And so the case managers now, on top of their normal caseload, actually have a follow-up as a responsibility, and that's going to help us again stay more connected and gather the information, but most importantly, to make sure that people are getting what they need, in that year after exit from the program. So a couple of things. I'm often told, I'm a kind of a problem solver is my mindset, and so I don't often celebrate the successes. I'm always moving on to the next challenge. But so I wanted to highlight a few things that I am excited about that we've been able to accomplish this program year. Again, obviously taking over the youth program in July. There's been a lot of plans and initiatives and things that had been in the works, but we were able to get things rolling and implement several things that I'm excited about. It's crucial that the 14 program elements are provided, and so here's some of the things that have been created, and Sarah did a lot of great work to get these up and running. So I mentioned earlier the work readiness program that we're putting people through. Youth also go into Career Essentials, which I'll talk about in a second, but they also have a very interactive, right now it's web-based, which many of our services are, helping youth, from, interview skills, resume stuff, basic work readiness things, not as beefy and involved as Career Essentials, which many of you are familiar with, but something that hadn't existed before that we're really excited about and know that youth are gaining information and skills that they need to be successful. One of the main goals of having the co-funded braided funding positions with Bedford and Campbell County was to make sure our youth navigators could provide what we call kind of basic career services to in-school youth or others that they come across with, and we've been able to implement those now in Bedford and in Campbell County. We were able to create a whole menu of services, tracking forms, just a whole process and procedure to make sure that youth who might not yet be fully ready for all of the WIOA youth program, but they can receive that basic career guidance, basic services that will help them get further along in their path. And through that process, if we determine they need additional services, we're able to go through the enrollment process. One of the big ones of the 14 elements that is always hard to figure out is the tutoring services. And so again, we've been able to connect with a virtual tutoring program called Learn to Be, where students are able to work one-on-one with a tutor and receive that help, which is great. Another thing I'm really proud of is the career mentoring service. Mentoring is one of the 14 elements that's been hard to implement over the years. And so Sarah, again, has developed a whole mentoring program with training and guidance on recruiting mentors, where it's literally going to be focused on the career path that youth is pursuing. And we will be partnering with local businesses, leaders to spend 1 hour a month for a year mentoring students who are interested in that career path. And we're just really excited about the possibilities with that program. And that's new, and we'll be starting here very, very soon. Another thing I want to tout about the youth program that was in another performance report given to us by the state is that many areas struggle to meet the 20% requirement for work experiences that are required. And we have hit that 2018-19 and are on our track to hit it for 2020 as well. And again, I think Sarah has done a great job of really getting out there and engaging with employers and making sure that that youth are experiencing what it's like to actually go to work. And so that's exciting. A few other things, community-wide collaborations that we've got around Career Essentials. Again, if you're not familiar, like Dr. Capps mentioned, 75% of employers say, their people aren't ready for employment. And that's not only hard skills, but often soft skills. And so we've been working with a lot of the partners to get a region-wide comprehensive work readiness training off the ground. Career Essentials is what we're using. It's a program offered by Skills USA. We're doing it through, we have a facilitator who does it. We also have collaborations with CVCC, ACE, and Parkview Community Mission to offer Career Essentials. For CVCC, Career Essentials is embedded in a couple of their programs, the CCMA and a few others, phlebotomy, I believe. And then we offer it in conjunction with Parkview over at the Life Skills Institute. So we had our first class that actually started in July so far, and again, which has been great with all the COVID restrictions. We've had 29 people complete Career Essentials, 25 have actually received the credential and are now either on to new trainings or employed, and we're excited about that. So again, the goal is that eventually that'll be a region-wide effort to help prepare people to be more employable. Another thing that we're very excited about is yes, sir.
So where did those folks come from? Those 29. Where did we attract those?
Yeah, so the majority of those were either participants in the adult program, and we focused a lot on people who were interested in the EEI grant, and then CVCC's participants were people who enrolled in their CCMA or phlebotomy class. It was really a collaboration with ACE as well, where they would have a group that did a medical terminology class, then we're going into, again, CCMA or one of the other medical field trainings, and they would embed the Career Essentials into that training. And ours just came from referrals for our program. And again, the partnership with the city is that it allows us to actually put people in the class who are low income and live in Lynchburg, but don't have to be enrolled in WIOA. So there are people that have come through referrals from social services and those places as well. So again, we're excited to see that expand. Again, hopefully as the COVID things decrease, we'll be able to increase attendance and really have a long-term study on the success rate of people who go through Career Essentials.
So one question is that,
Sure.
what do we plan on continuing the virtual platform? Will it be hybrid? What's your thought in regards to?
Yeah, so we'd like to be flexible. So our class has actually been in person from the start. We've done it and we've done it with social distancing and people wearing masks and the protocols, and we actually offer it 3 days a week for 6 weeks over at Life Skills Institute, taught by one of my staff. We have offered that as a virtual class too at times for people who were not able or willing to do that. So we've been flexible and done it that way. CVCC has kind of an embedded hybrid thing where I think most of the individuals work on it individually, and then they meet every other week as a class in person to go through assignments and things like that. So the beauty of this is we can offer it in multiple ways. We do want to make sure that we're providing, best practices and we're doing it to fidelity. But it does give us the flexibility to offer it in multiple ways so that we can make sure people can take advantage of it. I think in person is obviously the best, especially with the clients that we serve. Might need that initial assistance and help, and not everybody would necessarily have access to a computer to do it virtually. So again, we encourage that, but if people need to do it in different ways, we're flexible. Other questions on that? It's just so hard because all I can see is my presentation. I can't see anybody's faces or anything, so I don't know if anybody's wanting to interrupt or anything, but just please do if you need to. Just a couple more slides here. Another thing I'm very excited about, which is tied to the Career Essentials, is a more solidified partnership with Parkview Community Mission, the City of Lynchburg, and Adult and Career Education. We've been working collaboratively for a long time to filter people through the classes at Life Skills and all the offerings from ACE. And what's exciting is we've been both trying to fill a part-time volunteer coordinator position. We've submitted stuff to the city and are waiting to hear back from Mr. John Hughes about solidifying this collaboration. We'll actually be able to have a combined full-time coordinator and help from the city to actually pay for more of the classes that we offer. That means getting ahead classes, Career Essentials, Home Essentials, digital literacy. ACE right now has some CNA classes, so a myriad of classes through this partnership. And what's really great is if we do get it, it actually has some funding to help cover some of my staff's salaries so that we can serve more people who don't have to go through the full WIOA adult or dislocated worker or youth enrollment process. It just gives us a flexibility to serve more people. Again, they would still be primary Lynchburg, but again, it's just one more step of serving them more that we can to prove that this is a valuable resource and then rolling it out regionally. So we're excited about that. Just a couple other things that we've kind of had to go through. Obviously, COVID-related stuff. We were closed for a while, actually opened in July, and my staff were great. Everybody's really stepped up and figured out how to do things virtually and how to make things safe and how to reopen and create appointments and those kinds of things. They pitched in with helping out the VEC with unemployment issues, and the other exciting thing that's been a challenge, but it's been great, is with the board having an MOU with the VEC to provide Wagner-Peiser services. Myself and my team were able to, provide those services early on, and then train new staff who are working for the board now to take over those services and just kind of be a resource. And we've seen really significant improvements with that. So again, the pandemic has was a terrible thing, and a lot of lost lives and disrupted, many things. But it's also, on the silver lining side, it's allowed us to be more innovative, more creative, more adaptive, and rely more on each other to get things done. And so I'm excited about really, when we come out of this, just a more solidified partnership with everybody that we work with, and just more innovative ways to serve people going forward. So I know I get when I get into these presentations, I get into my New York mindset, and I talk kind of fast. I've been here 25 years, but there's still a lot of the New Yorker in me. So hopefully I wasn't too fast. or too slow, but if you have questions or comments, I'd love to entertain them now. Literally bird chirping. Not crickets, but we heard birds chirping.
Well, I guess that's better than the crickets, right? So,
Yeah.
but thank you. That's very comprehensive and very informative. So thank you very much, Keith. Were there any comments or questions?
Would you like to have me entertain a motion?
Yes, that's my next question. So,
Entertain a motion to extend the contract for Humankind since these programs are doing such good work.
okay, and that's Tracy. That's Tracy.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah, Tracy, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. It's been properly moved that we continue with Humankind. Do I have a second?
Second, Nate Mahames.
Okay, Nate, thank you. Properly moved in second that we continue with the program with Humankind. Any additional discussion? We're ready for the vote. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, now as important, anyone against? Nay. Okay, the ayes have it and it's approved. Thank you. Lori, anything more in regards to that item, agenda item?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Keith, can you get rid of the PowerPoint?
Am I still sharing it? Oh boy.
Yep.
How do I stop? Got it. Sorry, I thought I had already stopped that. Apologize.
No problem. I mean, unfortunately, again, now you get to see me again, I guess, but side issue there. So thank you again, Keith, for that. Appreciate it. Great work.
Thank you.
Continuing on now, Lori, you want to present a couple of policy?
Sure. Actually, policies that were brought about by the recommendation from the state. The first I'll go over is the youth incentives policy. So these are monetary incentives which are allowable under WIOA for youth participants. And we've actually had them in place. I hope you all received and had a chance to review the policy for a number of years. It's just we had them on an actual form that the youth career navigators would go over individually with the participants. And the youth career navigators are responsible for administering these and keeping the documentation in the record. There is a $500 max per program year per participant. You could see the specific activities which are allowable under WIOA and the monetary amounts which we have assigned to those. Did anyone have any specific questions about that policy? If so, please just speak up. Okay, and if not, I'm going to hand it over to Tim Saunders, who will review the business services policy for us. Thank you.
Do we want to do those separately or together?
Oh.
Okay. Are you there?
It's up to you, Nat, whatever you think is best.
Okay. I mean, unless there's a question, we can do them together. So we'll allow Tim to go.
Okay, well, since we have attached the business services policy to the agenda, I hope you all had a chance to review that. If not, I'll just give you a brief summary. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with this in the interest of time, but really what we've done here with this policy is essentially solidify things that we've been doing all along, things that date back to when my predecessors, Megan and Savannah, held this job. It's basically just a way for us to sort of formalize the business services policy. And from my standpoint, I approach business services as a very much a collaborative effort. I don't think we could do this any other way. Ben often talked about the need to have one person sort of speaking for us and going out and talking to businesses. But I think when it comes to business services, we need to acknowledge that we are a system of partners. And each of our partners may do things a little differently. And I never want to stand in the way of the great work that each of our workforce partners is doing when it comes to serving businesses. I want to be there to support them, and I want to be there to enhance what we do overall and bring everybody together so that when we are going out and we're talking to businesses, we are appearing as a unified front, that if someone comes to any of our partners under the banner of Virginia CareerWorks, that they are satisfied with the services that they are getting and they feel supported, most importantly, in what they're doing. So that's really what our business services policy solidifies. It lays out the services that we provide and sort of the communications flow, if you will, when it comes to how we communicate with our businesses. But just know that this is not being put in place to impede the work of any of our partners or anyone else that is out there right now doing really fantastic work to serve people. It's just to kind of formalize what we've always been doing. So if you haven't had a chance to review any of those documents and you have any questions about this, please let me know. Ask them now, and I might be able to answer those questions for you.
Great. Tim, thank you very much. Are there questions in regards to the business service policy? Okay. I don't see any hands raised or anything. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept both of these policies as they've been described, business services and youth incentives. Motion.
This is Christine Kennedy. I'll make that motion that we accept both of these policies.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Do I have a second?
Bill Coleman, second.
Thank you, Bill. Been properly moved and second that we would accept both policies. Ready for the vote? All those in favor? Aye.
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 And anyone against? Nay. The ayes have it. And both Tim and Lori, thank you very much for the work on that. Great job, and certainly will go forward in a uniform way. So we appreciate that. Anything else? Okay. So I don't hear anything from either. So I'm assuming that that's no.
Thank you. Thank you, Nat.
All right. Thank you. Right. With that, now our next item is the update on the search for the workforce director. That work has been ongoing for the last several weeks and months, and we're going to ask Gary Christie for an update on that, please. Gary.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Good.
Yep.
Good. The search is underway. We have 50 applications so far, and we're still taking applications through the course of the search. We are screening those applications, and we'll be inviting soon a selected group of folks for interviews. I expect those interviews to take place in the month of May. We have 9 people on our search committee. They are the executive committee plus 2 more, and we will be bringing a candidate to the board in a special meeting for you to meet and take action. So at this stage, we are making good progress. We're good communications, and the process is moving.
All right. So Gary, thank you very much for leading us through this. I will say that we were really impressed by the candidates that we received. We received a lot of folks that were local. So we really appreciate their interest in workforce. And it just makes the group of 9's job that much tougher, to make a selection. But that's a good thing versus not having any good candidates. Gary, thank you very much for leading us through it. A couple of folks on the search team. Gary just mentioned that we have changed up the timeline a little bit. Initially we were going to try to interview the week after next, and that more likely will be pushed out for just a couple of folks which weren't available. So we've tried to we'll hopefully be able to accommodate your schedules here soon. Any questions for Gary or myself? All right. Well, Gary, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So we've and it's 4 o'clock. So we used to be able to finish up in an hour, and we're pretty close to that timeline. Is there any other business from members or the staff?
I have something I would like to mention, Nat.
Okay, Tim, go ahead.
Right now, one issue that we are really facing with our businesses is filling positions more so than usual. I mean, it's always a challenge, I think, to find skilled workers to fill certain positions, but we're seeing a lot of demand from businesses right now for assistance with recruiting. And I've tried to actually hold some face-to-face job fairs. I had one last week for Concentrix that was held over 3 days and received amazing support from Keith Cook's team there at the center and also Renee's team with the VEC. I'm very grateful to their support. It was the first face-to-face job fair that we held since I came on board last March. It was finally safe to do that. We had great weather. Unfortunately, with 80 positions to fill, only 12 job seekers showed up over a 3-day period for this particular event, which was very disappointing. The employer was happy. The employer actually used the word home run to describe the event. They were satisfied. I was disappointed. I felt that we could have done a lot better. Certainly, I felt I could have done a lot better. I'm trying to evaluate exactly what might have been a challenge. We did advertise the event pretty widely. We had promotion on television for a full week, which reaches a lot of people. We had flyers out to all of our partners. More than 7,000 emails were sent out in the Virginia Workforce Connection to individuals registered there. And yet we still only had 12 people come out. And wide, I should point out, wide publicity on social media. I looked at the engagement and it looked as if we had about 2,000 people reached with advertisements there. So I bring all that up just to say, this is one example of many that I'm hearing from employers in a variety of sectors right now, from manufacturing to hospitality and retail, you name it. There are challenges, big challenges in filling positions. I'm having a job fair tomorrow. I'm hosting a job fair, I should say, with Keith's support, his team's support in Bedford at the Bedford Area Welcome Center for Delaware North, which is the vendor that operates the Peaks of Otter Lodge on the Blue Ridge Parkway. They have, I believe, between 15 and 20 positions that they're trying to fill that have a $100 monthly bonus available for every position. I mean, we're talking people, kitchen staff, back of the house staff for their restaurant there at the lodge that could receive a $100 monthly bonus in addition to what they'll be paid in their salary. So a good little incentive there. I have yet to receive a single person. I do not have any advanced registration for this event. So that's a little concerning. So if you know of anybody that's looking for work in hospitality or food service right now, which I know the unemployment numbers certainly indicate there are a lot of people looking for work in those sectors. If you know anybody that's looking, please tell them we have this event happening tomorrow from 11 to 4 at the Bedford Area Welcome Center.
So Tim, in regards to was it Concentrics, the fair there, if I remember correctly, their jobs were what, $12 and $13 an hour?
Yes, $12.50 starting out with raised to $13 per hour after 90 days.
So I wonder whether, at that rate, whether that's incentive for folks to come out or not. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I guess I'm asking that question is, that a rate that really doesn't excite enough folks to come out? And any thoughts on that?
Okay, let me jump in if you don't mind.
It's certainly possible. I mean, the rate was advertised, in all the marketing materials that I put out. I did highlight the fact that the job started at $12.50 an hour, thinking on my end that perhaps that would be a point to draw attention to, given that this is more of an entry-level position, and $12.50 an hour does seem to be higher than a lot of positions that would require a comparable level of experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, this is a high school diploma, and minimum 6 months customer service experience, meaning you could work at McDonald's or retail. So for an entry level high school only, $12.50 to $13 an hour, sitting in an office, not out, in the grueling sun, and it's a good position. And so we definitely should have seen more show up for sure.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for. So.
And I'll jump in as well. Just to share, this is Renee with the Virginia Employment Commission. I think a big part of that is because we don't currently have the job search requirement in place, I think it has been a deterrent for people to look for work, but that will be re-implemented as of the week ending June the 5th. So that job search requirement, I think we will see an uptick in applications and individuals who are seeking work.
Okay, good information. Thank you, Renee. Any other questions for that? And Tim, thank you for the update. And as he said, if anyone's aware of anyone interested in the hospitality, certainly just remember and forward them to that event in Bedford tomorrow. Anyone else have any updates or other business to come before the group?
Nate Mahoney.
Hey, okay, yes.
I wanted to provide a reminder that next Tuesday morning, April 20th, starting at 10 a.m., we will have our second quarterly meeting of the RAIN network, the Resource Access Network for Employers. We're going to have a workforce partner update for the first part of the meeting. And then our key presenter for the day will be Ryan Kress, who is the current Miss Wheelchair Virginia. She's also a registered nurse that works with the Carillion healthcare system. And she's got a really impactful story about how the disability that she has, which is something that came on later on in her, or in the beginning of her adult life, and caused her to lose her ability to walk on her own. How she's faced those challenges and some specific challenges that she didn't think she would have to face in the workforce in order to continue in her chosen career field. So she's got a really impactful story. And for anybody that has not registered, I encourage you to do so, to join us for that meeting. And if anybody has not received the link to register for that, please let me know. I'll send it out either directly to you or ask Tim Saunders if he'll send it out again to board members. So thanks, and hope you can join us. Nat, I think you're muted. I'm not hearing you.
I thank you very much. I was muted and I was talking, and I appreciate you letting me know that. So again, Nate, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And certainly Rain is doing a great job. So appreciate all the work you're doing with that. So any other business? All right. Everybody for joining us today. A couple things to be reminded of. The next official Workforce Development Board quarterly meeting is going to be July the 13th at 3 p.m. So please mark that on your calendar. Now, the special meeting to consider the recommendation coming from the search committee will be determined at some point. We're thinking, as we said, that the interviews will happen in May. So it could be late May or June before we actually bring this group back together to let you know what our thoughts are, recommendations are, so on and so forth. So we look forward to that happening, in the next couple of months. And again, July the 13th, that's the full board meeting. Thank you again for all of your patience and all the information that was here. Thank all the presenters. So appreciate the information that you've given us. And if there's nothing else, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.